Never found a love like this. There it is. I've never found a love like this.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV, E20 Supporters Zone, episode 1, and it is with Kane. Right? I'm actually pleased to have Kane on. I will say that I do like Kane. Right? We've had many Twitter discussions before, and Kane's opinions I sometimes agree with, sometimes don't. But Kane, how are you doing, man?
I'm well. I'm very well. How are you?
Good man. Good man. This is a bank holiday weekend. Everyone's out getting smashed. You just said you was out getting smashed, and basically it's recovery day, isn't it? Let's be real.
Recovery day, yeah.
What did you think of yesterday before we get started, Kane?
Yesterday, I could kind of tell we were out there just to maintain match sharpness. I don't think we were really sort of going for it.
Yeah.
We were just out there just to keep sharpness up, and that's what I expected. To be honest, I expected to lose the game because it's Leicester at home. They need to win, and we were out there just to not get injured. So it kind of went how I expected. And to be fair, there was a point where they were defending for their lives, and we were just passing it about. So overall, we got no injuries. Job done.
Yeah. Listen, yesterday I was a bit sort of hit and miss with it. I was like, on the one hand, I thought, why is he playing so many strong players? And obviously, you get a bit worried, especially with Antonio. If he goes down, then we've got to rely on Danny Ings, and we all know how bad he is at the minute. But let's get started with West Ham this season, 2022-2023 season. Kane, how do you assess this season? Like, obviously, Premier League wise.
First half is a solid 1 out of 10 of the season, and the second half is a good 6 or 7 when you consider we did okay in the league in terms of form, and we also had the Conference League as well, sandwiched in between it. So overall, it's a poor season, but the second half's a lot more promising than the first half.
Yeah. What did you think on regards of, because like, let's be honest, you've seen it on Twitter quite a lot over the last year, right? The amount of different styles that West Ham have played this year. We played possession-based game, 3 at the back, 4 at the back, 5 at the back. Like, what do you think in regards to West Ham as in the way Moyes is finally set up?
I quite like it if you look at certain games like the United game and the Leeds game. I enjoyed that. I really enjoyed those games. I thought we were brilliant. So I think we've sort of found it now, and a lot of players like Paqueta's a big one who's actually now suited to the Premier League. He's bulked up a bit, and you can see how it works. So I quite like it. Obviously, there's games in between when we played Palace, we were shit, but we were knackered. We played Liverpool, we were all right, but we were knackered. But you can see like there's a really good, decent style of play now, whereas before at the start of the season, they just didn't they recognise each other on the pitch.
Yeah. Listen, I agree. But is it sustainable though, Kane? That's the only thing that I look at it with that style of play. Like, you can do that style of play if you're fighting relegation. Don't get me wrong. I remember on a space, and I think it was you who actually turned around and said it. You said West Ham will grind it out to the end of the season. Literally grind out every single point they can just to stay in the league. As of next season, is that the way forward, or does the style just need to change? Like, because I can understand it with the Moyes in, Moyes out people. Some people want Moyes in because of what he's done. Some people look at Moyes out and go, well, what more can he do with the style? Because the style is just awful at the minute, like in some people's eyes. What do you think, mate?
I think so. I think Moyes admitted it a couple of weeks ago, didn't he? He said he had to go back to find a way of winning games, and that's what we did. And I think if you look at some of the performances, the turn of the year, we just won the game. Didn't matter how we did it, we won the game. And now it's a bit better, isn't it? Like Man United, we battered them. We completely destroyed them. I thought the second half especially. So I think it's got a bit more better and they got a bit more confidence, and they found their way. So I think it is sustainable. If I was to give you a status as the last 15 games of this season, considering we were in Conference League as well, we're 10th. So that shows there is consistency there. I think it is sustainable, but it's going to be hard to tell because we're losing Rice, and I can't predict what we do with that.
I actually do agree with that, 100%. Where do you stand with Moyes for you, Kane?
I've always backed him pretty much the whole time, and I don't look at it just as a him thing. I look at it as a club thing, and I think whoever we get in's got a mountain to do because the club's not really run like a Brighton or even a Brentford as such. So that's why I think the people who want to get a progressive manager in, fair enough, but there's no like they got the whole thing against them as well. They've not got like an outlay to support that. So I'm happy with Moyes, especially if he wins that. I think, yeah, stay. You've had a season which I kept saying was a transition season. I'm going to back that, and we'll see how we do, I guess.
The only thing with him, Kane, is that when people are just, I can understand the argument of the Moyes out people, the ones who say, right, look what he's like. Well, where's it going with him? Like, I think the Conference League's been good, right? But for me, when I look at him after this game, I think it's very black and white, the conference final. I think if he wins it, he stays. I think if he loses it, he has to go. I don't think there's not a grey for me. Like, I think if he loses it, then what's the achievement next year? Like, what can he do what he ain't already done? Do you know what I mean? So, to round it up with sort of this season, Kane, who sort of shone for you this season apart from Declan Rice?
There's been periods. I think Bowen shone recently. I think Soufal's done really well. There's been periods where everyone has. Ben Rama's shone well at points of the season as well. Antonio's shone well in the Conference League and in a few games. Zuma's. There's been points. Obviously, to be fair, it's a poor season, so there's been long periods where people haven't played well. But I think Rice is the consistent one where you go, he's shone all season. But there's been periods where other people have.
Yeah, I would say I would actually agree on that. I really would. Who's disappointed you most this season? Player was.
It's probably Ben Johnson. I guess I don't think he's not really. I can't think of a game where he's played really well this season. And before the last few games, I guess it would have been Fornals, but he's picked up now. I don't know what was up with him before, but hopefully that's sorted out.
He's a completely different man. He looked
nervous on the pitch, didn't he? He looked. Do you remember that game where we were playing Ghent and we were like 3-1 up, and then he missed, like they crossed the ball to him, he missed it, and he smashed it in the stands. It's like, what's going on in this guy's head? Why is he getting so stressed out?
Yeah, I think he's one thing I will say before I move on. I think Fornals is close to getting in the starting position for the final. I think, and that's coming from me, and I'm not his biggest fan. Don't get me wrong, but I've got to admit, over the last sort of 3-4 weeks, he's been pretty decent. Like every time he's come on, he's looked decent. He's scoring goals.
Is it last 3 games he scored? Is it?
I think so.
Spaced out a bit?
Yeah, he scored 2 goals in 3 games. I don't think he scored against Leeds, but he scored.
No, he didn't, no.
He scored yesterday, and he scored against AZ. So, do you know what? If he plays in Prague, then fair enough. But as long as we ain't going to be so ultimately defensive, so we will get to it then, Kane. How do we approach Fiorentina in Prague? How do you want West Ham to approach that game in Prague, mate?
Fiorentina, very, very attacking. Let's say very, very attacking team, and I haven't watched a lot of them. I watched a bit of them, especially watched a bit of that Coppa Italia. They're a bit of a shambles at the back, so it is suited to our counter-attacking players. Probably how I set up, how Moyes usually sets up for these games. It's probably how I would set up, to be honest with you. But they are a good team. So, and I know that there's some games this season where we've looked defensively really good. So, if we can put in one of them performances and then hit him on the break, I think we could have a bit of joy.
Who do you compare them to? If you used to look at Fiorentina and compare them to a Premier League side, is there anyone that you would look at them and think, you know what, they're the same?
It's hard to explain. Because they remind me of AZ, but like a much better version of AZ.
Yeah. I actually do agree on that. I think they've got some players that West Ham have actually targeted. Like Cabral up front is one that they've targeted for ages before they got Skamaka. Obviously, Milenkovic is in there, who's going to be literally. I hope he don't come out and alter us because he was in Canary Wharf last year before we got Zuma. Yeah. So it's like whatever happens on that sort of game, it's going to be like as long as West Ham are like keep calm, even if they go 1-0 down. Like because this is one thing that I do fear with Fiorentina. For me personally, I look at them and I think if we go 1-0 down, Italians know how to defend a 1-0 lead. That's the one thing I will say. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? So how would you approach it in Kane for you?
Yeah, like how we've been setting up, especially like we set up against AZ and things like that. We're just like Moyes ball. We're counter attacking. Yeah, get the ball to Paqueta a lot because he can sort of get past a couple of people nowadays and try and start a break.
Yeah.
So pretty much Europa League, Conference League, West Ham that we've seen over the last 2 seasons is the best way for us to tackle it.
I hear you, mate. I hear you.
Mm.
Right, let's go to your starting 11. Give me your 1 to 11 here for Prague, mate.
I'd keep it consistent, to be fair. I'd start Areola, but I'd be fine if Fabianski started. Soufal, Zuma, Aguerd, Cresswell, Rice, Souček, Paqueta, Bowen, Benrahma, Antonio.
Yeah. Do you think on the right-hand side it's like a toss of a coin for you, though, in regards to Kufel or Kera? Because Kera's actually done all right in recent games.
Yeah, it's harsh on him, but I just know that Soufal's probably the better right back in general. And although Correa's been really good, we know he's got a mistake in him. And the guy nearly gave AZ the lead the other day, like giving that own goal. So I would start Soufal.
How can I put this with Paqueta? Like when it is with Paqueta, just to sort of go through your team, I agree with sort of that team. You know, the only issue that I have is probably goalkeeper and right back for me. I think everyone else picks themselves. I think Fabianski or Areola. I think if you're going to play Areola in this game, I think it's very careless from Moyes yesterday to not basically put Areola in for a game to keep him match sharp for the final. Right?
Yeah, that's true. I agree with that. Yeah.
But if he goes with Fab, then so be it. Like whatever it is, either or. You know what I mean? The right back situation is the one where I look at it and think you got Kufal there because he's a Czech boy. He's playing in Prague. He's got Souček there. It's sentimental to him. But then you've got Tilo Kehrer, who's, I'll be honest with you, has been one of the top players in recent weeks, especially against Manchester United. I thought he was excellent against Man United.
Yeah, he was really good, yeah.
So it's a bit of a toss of a coin on who you go with. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, up front, Antonio. We can't have Danny Ings in this side. I know that. Not the way he's performing at the minute. Right. And what about Fornals for you?
See, I wouldn't mind if Fornals started, but I think Benrahma's he's earned the final because he's played the whole game. He put in an absolute brilliant game in the first leg against AZ. And I think I don't want to change it too much. So I'll just keep Benrahma. What I will say is Fornals is coming off the bench and doing quite well too. So maybe we can sort of keep that going. I know Benrahma's good off the bench sometimes, but just keep it consistent, keep it familiar.
Yeah, I hear you, mate. I really do. I think also that whatever way he goes about it on the 7th, the subs are going to be massive. So if Benrahma is on the bench, and listen, if Benrahma's on the bench, I can go, you know what, fair enough, he's on the bench. But the way I look at it is, are West Ham going to try and play to win this game in 90 minutes? Or are they going to try and play to win it in 120 minutes? Do you know what I mean? That's the way I look at it with them. Do you know what I mean? They have to fire up the bench.
And that's the interesting part because we probably got more players to win it in 120 rather than 90 because if you got like Benrahma off the bench, you got Fornals off the bench, you even got Ings. I know he's been shit, but he's good for a goal. You got players like that off the bench. We might I found a lot of these games, Europa Conference League games, when it hits the 60, 70 minute mark, we're just battering these teams because they're fucked. They can't handle it anymore. So that might be an interesting point actually.
Do you know what I mean? I'll just look at it like that. I think if West Ham play the way they can play, like what West Ham haven't got to do, in my opinion, is basically try and win it in the first 45 or try and just come out and try and blast them out the ground. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. If West Ham, if West Ham try and wear them down, second half, like if I was having a punt on West Ham in this game, I would go West Ham to win the second half because I think West Ham got a better fitness than Fiorentina. Also, Fiorentina are playing 3 days before, but I don't believe they're going to play any strong players in that game against Sassuolo. Like none. So we will see what happens there, Kane. Let's go to this game. Give me your prediction of how you see the game going on the 7th. Will we be dancing in the streets of East London, mate?
We will be winning. I will admit we are probably slight underdogs for this, but obviously you're going to back your boys, aren't you? We will win it, and we will win it on penalties. And Fabianski will be a hero in it. I've had it in my mind for ages that we're due a penalty shootout, and I thought we were going to have a penalty shootout this tournament, and it looks like it'll be the final. We'll all grow about 10 years older after it, but it'll be worth it.
Do you know what? I actually do think the same thing, mate. I haven't done my preview yet, but my preview is it goes all the way. I think West Ham are going to set up in a defensive way against Fiorentina. I believe that Fiorentina are a defensive-minded team. Even though they've got good attackers, they're Italian. They know how to defend, keep it tight. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think if West Ham don't score within the first 75 minutes, I think West Ham will look at it and think, right, extra time, bring players on. If it goes to penalties, we win it. Trust me, mate. You die 1,000 deaths, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll probably die that night, but it'd be worth it. With
100%.
West Ham is like a lot of games this season, we start off shit and we grow and grow and grow into the game. It'll be like that, I think. And there's going to be points of that game where we're bricking it and they're all over us because it's a final, isn't it? And they'll be the same, and vice versa. So it's not going to be a nice watch until we win it. It's going to be a horrible watch.
Let's look into the future, Kane. Right? If we do win it, how would you rate this season as a whole?
Well, it's got to be like an 8 or 9 out of 10 because we won our 5th trophy.
Yeah,
and we're in Europa League, so it's amazing. And I know what you were saying before, where you said like it's black and white. If we don't win it, it's a poor season. But I guess that's how some seasons are. Like you win a trophy, you don't win a trophy. Yeah, it'd be an amazing season. It'd be an amazing achievement for the club. Have I paused?
No, you're good, mate. Go on, carry on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it'd be amazing season. Yeah, adding the 5th trophy to our cabinet is unbelievable. And then what we got Europa League football next season. Yeah, it's an 8, 9 out of 10, probably 10 out of 10 even, because it's a trophy, isn't it?
I think if a lot of people would have looked back last season, right, and at the end of last season said, well, what is the ambition for West Ham this season? A lot of people would have said, as long as they stay in the Premier League, i.e., like don't get fucking relegated and don't do anything stupid. If West Ham finished 12th, like my attitude was, if West Ham finished 12th but win the conference, that to me is a success. Like whatever way you look at it, right, it's a success because West Ham haven't won a trophy in 43 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So would I say for me it's an 8 out of 10? I would say if we do win it, it'd be I'd probably say an 8. Like I'd say it's been a good season. We've won it. I think we've had some dolly draws in it, though. Don't get me wrong. In the conference, we've had teams where we should be beating these teams, and this is going to be a test for Fiorentina. Right for me,
it will be. It will be. What we got to remember is, like, I agree with you. Like these teams we should be beating on paper, but like we outplayed Anderlecht, didn't we? With like plucking Downs and Coventry in midfield, and they knock out Villarreal, didn't they? They knocked out Lazio and stuff. So it can bite you. So we've gone about it in a good way. And that win against AZ, their place, they hadn't lost a European game for 25 games at their place before that. So I think that was a brilliant achievement, to be honest.
And finally, Kane, because we're getting all these predictions done, that will Moyes stay or go next season?
Oh, he's staying regardless. I think that's what's been coming out, isn't it? He's staying regardless. I think the only way he would probably go now is if there was a change of ownership. I think.
Yeah, I actually do agree with him there. I think I actually believe this is, and people can clip this if they want, but I actually believe that when the new owner comes in, I don't think the new owner's coming in this summer. I think the new owner comes in next summer. They will run his contract down and they'll let Moyes go, and then they'll bring a new manager in once the ownership is changed, or if Kadinsky becomes majority shareholder. So I don't think it's going to. I don't think Sullivan will ever walk away from West Ham because he just loves to put it to us, doesn't he? Let's be real. So he still have a stake in West Ham, but as long as he's not the majority shareholder, I think that is basically it. Do you know what I'm saying? That'll do us good. Kane, thank you very much, mate, for coming on. You are the first. Yeah, man, I saved it. I saved the first one for you, Kane, as always. So yeah,
get this shit out of the way.
Nah, mate. You speak well, mate. Trust me. I don't always agree with some of the opinions. Don't get me wrong. And you did call it with the Man City on the Twitter on your Twitter feed about when West Ham played Arsenal, you said, "Don't worry, Man City, we'll do you a favour," and you had like a fucking million fucking hits on it.
I couldn't believe that. I was like, Jesus Christ, I'm not doing that again.
And you said like, I think somebody even said 2-2 and all, which was a mad.
It's my jinx. Have you seen my jinx? Have you seen my jinx? It works every time, so that's why we're winning. I tweet that thing, and then we win, or we don't lose. So like, don't worry about it. We're gonna...
That's it. We're gonna win this.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Kane, for coming on. I really do appreciate it.
No problem. No problem. Okay.
Please do like the video. Kane speaks well. I'm going to have him on more next season. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. I'll be back tonight. These are going to be short videos. They're not going to be sort of long videos. They're going to be quite 20 minutes, 25 minutes long. Tonight, 8:30, I'll be back again. Talk about West Ham. As Prague. It's going to be mad. It's going to be a mad week leading up to it. I'm getting as many fans on as I can. So do check it out. Do you know what I'm saying? Anyway, that's enough from me and Kane. I will see you at 8:30. Take care. Peace.
There it is. I've never found a love like this.